Hi, I'm Vikki Reynolds. I'm a community organizer, activist, and a therapist presenter. And I'm thrilled to be here today with folks from Joint Effort who are going to talk a little bit about who you are, what they do, and their abolitionist work and how we could join them in solidarity. So does everybody just want to, oh, and I also want to acknowledge I'm on the territory of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh people here in what is called Vancouver. Thanks so much. Maybe everybody could just take a turn to introduce themselves.
Go ahead. My name is Kirsten, and I'm a longtime member of Joint Effort. I'm currently on the unceded territories of the Squamish, the Tsleil-Waututh, and the Musqueam. Primarily we are connected to Fraser Valley Institution, the prison for federally sentenced women.
Hi, my name's Rosie. I'm a visitor in this land, my last stop, but oh, sorry. Anyway, I first came in contact with Joint Effort back in 2009, 2010, somewhere around there. They used to come into FEI, and it was
FEI?
Fraser Valley Institution for yeah. And it started out with crafts, and they would come in and talk to us and listen to some of the girls' concerns and stuff like that. So when I came out, one of the I had been incarcerated for 23 years. So when I came out, I had the support of Kathy and Kirsten, and it was amazing to get an outpack, which is buying my little cart and some articles of clothing that I needed to, because I wanted a job and I wanted it now, so I needed to look good. So yeah, so they and my goodness, Kirsten is my friend now. She's been such a great support, got me driving, helped me with my license. Yes, so now I have my van and my little doggy, and life is just happening. So I can't say enough about Joint Effort. I already showed you my tattoo. Yeah, so
Actually, Rosie's tattoo of Joint Effort is the picture that I have up in my workshops for Joint Effort. That's wonderful. Maybe Wendy can say hi now.
yes.
Yeah, hi. I'm Joanne Wendy. I met Joint Effort when I was also at the Fraser Valley Institute for Women. In 2016, I had just transferred from Quebec to BC and had knew no one, and they were coming into the institution, and they were the only ones that were actually helping or coming into the institution. I was used to Elizabeth Fry coming in at Joliet Institution in Quebec, but that wasn't the case in BC. Joint Effort were coming in. And when I got my day parole in 2018, well, then I joined Joint Effort. It's an amazing organization, which has now gone national because we got members all across the board almost, and from BC to Toronto to Montreal, which is great to see an amazing organization like that grow. Yeah.
Thanks for that. Thanks for that. Tell us what Joint Effort is. I really love the name Joint Effort. It's wonderful.
Yeah, maybe I can speak to that a bit. It started in the 1980s, came out of the labor movement. And one of the members came up with the name referring to the joint, the prison, but also the joint effort we do. We're since we started, it's been members of people that were in prison that are out, or people that work alongside that haven't experienced prison. So it's a group of, that makes it unique. We're abolitionists, which means we want a world where we don't need prisons. There's been different members along the way. And when people get out, we're always like, you can join us or not, and people stick around or they don't. And we're grassroots, so we've not gotten any formal funding. But what is important is we try to always take direction from people with the lived prison experience, because with that comes a knowledge. And, many of us just feel so fortunate to be, to learn that knowledge. It's a unique position to be in, for myself. I learned so much, I gained so much. So we try to take direction, ask women what they want, or the folks inside the women's prisons, ask them what they want, what they need, and then we try to go about doing it. It's pretty simple.
Like the phone cards.
Oh, yeah, yeah. You go ahead.
Oh, wow.
It was your idea.
What, yeah, because, well, anyway, yeah, $10 in everyone's account at FEI. All 3 securities got that. So that
Tell
was
me
really
about-
nice for.
As someone who hasn't been to prison, tell me about making a phone call from prison and why giving women and trans women, folks in the women's prison, money for phone calls is so important.
It's to keep in contact with loved ones. Yeah, friends or family, or, both if they have them.
And it's expensive.
It is.
You have to, so I
expensive.
don't think everybody outside of prison knows, because there's so much propaganda that people in prison are living in resorts. I don't think everybody knows that you actually don't have a phone on you and you can't phone everybody all the time and you pay for it. So tell us a bit about how the phone works and why your resistance strategy was the phone cards.
Well, the first thing is the misconception is that you could call whoever whenever, and it's not true. They're you can't call in the middle of the night, and there's always a phone list and people waiting to call, which because every unit has multiple between 10 and 15 people living in there and one phone. Secondly, most of the institutions are not in the greater metropolitan areas of anywhere,
Yeah.
right? So it's usually long distance to make any call unless your family comes from within that specific area. If I'm talking BC, well, I'm talking the Fraser Valley area, Abbotsford, it's in Abbotsford. So anything that would be long distance for Abbotsford, then it's long distance for whoever's at FEI. And most of the people at FEI don't come from Abbotsford. So most of the phone calls are long distance. And it's Bell Canada, and it's not one of those long distance great plans. So if we're talking also about people that have been, they're coming from not just different areas of BC, but just the different areas of the country, like people that have been transferred for an involuntary reasons, so that's not their choice too. If they're from Edmonton or Ontario, then it's also long distance to try to get in touch with your family. And with a maximum amount pay of, let's say, if I'm not mistaken, $560 or $580, I don't have the I don't have the
top pay
I don't
is
have the
$690.
$690. I don't have the pay scale in front of me. I apologize, but so $690.
Yeah.
So $690 is that's if you're the best person in the world and you never make any mistakes, and then you're able to get that amount of pay. But usually it's $5 something a day. It's hard to stay in touch with families with that amount, with that money. I mean,
Yeah, thanks for that.
right? Like one day's pay might cost you one call. So
Yeah.
so that's so it's not a resort. And keeping in touch with your family and community is a bare minimum of keeping your sanity, and even preparing your exit plan. Like, you need to stay in touch with community and family for when you want to leave, so you have a place, you have a support systems, right? So
Thanks. Kirsten, I knew you wanted to say something about the phone.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it's kind of expensive to be a prisoner, like, because you pay room and board. Wages are very low. If you want extras, you buy them. And so phone calls are a considerable expense, as are stamps and letters and envelopes. And a lot of the people I meet are mothers. So, that's just another facet of the gendered experience of
And some
prisons.
people send their money that they make inside home, like, and it's not very much that they make. So, but I've heard of some women that do that.
So you had Rosie, it was your idea to come up with the phone card project. Tell me, how did that happen? What'd you do?
Oh, well, because another organization had done that along in my incarceration. I think it was eFry. And I thought, oh, isn't that nice? Yeah, it really is. And it was welcomed and I used it and it was good. So yeah, for joint effort to be able to do that, maybe once or twice a year, depending on the funds, I think that would be a good idea.
So what did you do?
Hmm?
So what did you do?
So the new warden was very receptive. We have a long, relationship with the prison, and so we were so appreciative that they did say yes, we could do this. And so we wrote a letter for each person, and sent the money to the prison, and they put it in each person's account. And we've been getting thank you letters back for it. And it allowed us to connect with everybody, which is really hard to do. We used to go and purchase beaded items, things that prisoners make. And that was a way of getting some money in some people's accounts, but it was only a small portion of people that are, beading or knitting or what have you. So this seemed like a great idea, and hopefully one that will continue.
Thanks for that. So I know the other thing you do is pen packs and out packs. And I had thought Penpack was sending people stamps and letters, but it's way more than that. Can you tell us what they are, what's required, and how joint effort does this?
Well, a pen pack, it used to be called a penitentiary package, which is technically it's your personal items you can receive when you start your federal sentence. So you have 30 days from the day you get in to receive a package from your family with clothing and like a TV, radio, alarm clock, things you'll need for your sentence. So it went from penitentiary package to like a pen pack. Throughout the years, also folks serving life sentences. Can you imagine your life pack? I know that when my pen pack, I got my pen pack like 6 months later, I wasn't fitting in my clothes anymore because I went from like 160 pounds to 275 pounds in 6 months. So I had to purchase a whole bunch of new clothes. But some institution will provide what they call a lifer pack, which is every 5 years you're allowed to trade in some clothing to get new clothing if you're serving more than 10 years.
Wendy, let me interrupt you for a second.
Yes.
From people outside, it's not that the prison is going to give you anything. They just allow you to exchange things in a life pack. They don't provide it, right?
No, they don't.
Okay.
And they won't. And then new regulation came in recently. Before you can get new stuff in, and now it's in a 1-to-1 trading base, right? So for one shirt you get, you have to give it back. So for some reason, Correction Services Canada has tightened the belt on things that people can receive in prison.
Okay. Thanks so much for that. So
for some exorbitant amount, it's like it's a big issue now on what people can get, as if they're getting way too much, which is incomprehensible in my mind. So those are, and then there's different variants. There's an out pack, so when you leave, that you do have clothing for the outside. And then we're also getting some requests for people that are pregnant, so like pregnant packs. So there's different things, and all has to be approved by the institution. But it's all to help folks inside. I mean, we all everybody dressed differently. A lot of folks express their sense of self through their clothing, their culture, their gender, their non-gender. Like people express themselves through clothing, and to walk around in institutional clothing on there, it's an oppression of self.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you want to succeed, and I believe, and this is my opinion, if you want to help people succeed in reintegration, well, you have to give them a sense of self, right? If you institutionalize them, then the task is what we have now. It's a lot more difficult.
Thanks for
So,
that. Yeah, I appreciate that. Okay, so Rosie and Kirsten, you were going to explain what you're doing with Penpack. Tell us what we're looking at.
So we're strategically placed in front of Penpacks in progress. There's 3 of them. So folks write us, and we have a form they fill out with their size, their measurements, but importantly, we ask them what colors they don't like, what colors they do like, what is their style. We tell them you're not going to get exactly what you want, because we buy things, but we also rely on donations, and we go thrifting. And some of the things we buy new, like underwear and socks, we, at the advice of Kathy, who's in our group, she said it was important to have house coats for privacy and to have flip-flops for being in the shower. And so we now include those things. So we're slowly putting together the Penpacks. We have to do it within a time frame. And then we also write a letter and just invite people to write back to us if they want. Like you're now writing somebody inside.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
Yeah.
And
now we're not just doing it for FVI anymore. We also have requests from GVI, which is Grand Valley Institution in Ontario. We have requests from Joliette. And now, unfortunately, EIFW, which is Edmonton, has lost all their Penpacks. So now we're getting requests coming in from Edmonton also. So it's becoming quite popular.
Yeah.
So if you know anyone in Edmonton, because we do need a person there,
Yeah.
we can't ship from here or from Montreal. Like it would defeat the, yeah.
So can you tell us about the postage then? Like, how does it get there?
Well,
Oh,
it'll depend on where the request is. In Montreal, I will usually drive out and bring it. And I think in FVI, which is Fraser Valley in BC, I know Kirsten does a lot of it, so mostly driven. But some areas it's not possible. Like right now, we don't have anybody in Edmonton, so we're trying to find somebody so we don't have to mail it out. And Toronto is usually, if I'm not mistaken, Kirsten, is usually mailed out too, because they're in Kitchener. So Fraser Grand Valley Institutions in Kitchener, and most of our volunteers are in Toronto. Yeah. So it's not necessarily possible to drive it out. So a big box or maybe 2 boxes can be quite expensive to ship. Yeah.
Yeah. That's great. Kirsten, Rosie, was there something else you wanted to say about any of those packages?
So what people ask for are clothes, and shoes. Now, the institution provides some of that, but it's all quite standardized and sometimes very expensive. So, but people also ask for small items like fans, or clock radios. We were advised by someone inside, a prisoner, that the alarm clocks needed to also have radios, and that was important for mental health. When people wake up, they can hear music. So now we get clock radios with radios. We used to provide televisions. If you can imagine doing time without a TV, it would be, a form of torture almost. I mean, not to be dramatic, but I think TVs are very important for the boredom. But that has become quite expensive, so we're not supplying TVs anymore. And also toiletry items. We try to put a new toothbrush in each one. Often hair ties. I guess I've been told that's important to have better quality brushes. So these are, but primarily it's clothing.
Yeah.
So
And so, if people are, abolitionists and they're siding with Angela Davis's ideas about abolition as no police, no prisons, no surveillance, and they want to get involved, how can people get involved with joint effort? What can people do?
we have a few ideas. Pen pals are always a great way, and you don't need joint effort to do that. You can, is it true you can write to the inmates
inmate committee, yeah, and they'll send your name, put it up on the board or something, or in the office, and yeah. So
But if somebody wanted to get involved with pen pals, they could contact you and ask you how to do that. That's something you would do with folks, help them become.
Totally, yeah. Yeah,
we have a website that gives us information on how to get in contact with us through email or an address. Yeah.
Okay.
there's also say what that is in the.
What is that?
TAs?
Oh,
The
yeah.
training?
If anybody wants to volunteer to become do training at FBI so that they can take the women out on ETAs.
What's an
Yes.
ETA?
Escorted temporary absences.
Oh,
Yes, and so that would be good if there was, say, going to the Friendship Center or something in Vancouver, or if Anderson Lodge ever opens up their sweats again. Yeah, volunteers are needed that way. There's also things in the Abbotsford area that you can go to, like Mission, Emma's Acres, yeah, all kinds of stuff that.
so people who wanted to help out could get connected with you and you'll help them get trained up somehow officially so that they can escort folks, women and trans folks, to leave the premises at times.
Well, we'll have the info for if anybody wants to do the training, because that goes through FBI, not through us.
Yeah,
We can give you the information.
okay. So those are
Yeah.
good things. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Are you looking for more people to join your network in general?
Yeah, we sort of have a core group, but we're always looking for supporters, eventually we hope to grow the Penpack program where we have a space where donations can come in, but right now it's pretty, us doing the shopping, and you have to be careful. There's regulations to follow. You write letters in a certain way there, so it's not just like anybody can do it, but eventually we want to kind of grow. And that's been Wendy's desire. Wendy was the one that started this program. So
Yeah, my is pen packs are really needed, but the other things are needed inside. I used to be really into advocacy and doing a lot more advocacy through the work I was doing, and I'm turning more towards service because I realize that there's a lot of stuff that folks need. I'm a Gladu Report writer, so I talked a lot with Aboriginal women that are now like 50% of the federally incarcerated women, which is a disgrace and a disaster.
Mhm.
And there's a big need for correctional plan Gladu reports, because for one reason or another there is no report given at sentencing, and a Gladu it's an Indigenous pre-sentencing report that incorporates historical trauma, generational trauma, and helps you through incarceration to get the right programming, to get the right parole, and things like that. And a lot of the folks don't have it. And it's important to have, and the government will only pay for it if you receive it during your sentencing. So if you don't have it at your sentencing, it's really hard to find funding. So there's that. There's
Okay, so let's slow down, Wendy, let's slow down a little bit because everybody won't catch on this. So the Gladu Report is done during sentencing for Aboriginal women so that they can get services in prison. And then you need to, if you didn't get that done, you have to catch up later and it's very expensive. So it sounds to me like what folks could do is some fundraising around
absolutely.
giving you just more money to do what, that's another thing people could do is just get you some more money to do these amazing things you're doing, right?
Exactly. We need money for the Penpacks. I mean, we need money. You know, the people that drive out, like Kirsten a lot, you know, sometimes, you know, gas is expensive. So yeah, fundraising is like key, is absolutely key. So you can, you know, either donate once, you can donate monthly, you can donate annually. You know, there's different ways of donating. And yeah.
Thanks for that.
Patreon account.
Yeah.
What did you say, Rosie?
The Patreon account. That's
We
what I
have
think
one.
that's what Wendy's talking about.
We
Are you
have
Wendy?
We
Yes.
have
Yeah.
Patreon
Yeah.
account.
And that's on your website. There's a connection to that on your website.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll make sure the website's sitting next to this video so everybody can access. It'll be in the links below. That's grand. Well, thanks so much for having this conversation. Big, you know, just huge respect for the work that you do and for being, as you said, prisoner led by people with lived and living experience of being incarcerated and being directed by that. And your creativity with like so little, doing so much that matters so much. I've been really honored to be connected with, I've been connected to Joint Effort over 30 years. So it's really wonderful for us to get reconnected.
And you're doing such an amazing job. I wanted to get that on the video too.
Yes.
Thank you, Vikki.
Yeah, well, thanks all of us. This is fantastic. All right. Well, thanks so much for this. Really
Sure.
appreciate it. And everybody can look at the link below. That'll be fantastic. Okay.
All righty. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.